Ladies and gentlemen, we a podcast now, Okie Day, for this is a Fred Daily Productions podcast.
Why would you say that name?
Say what
of
name?
the Fifth it is.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Fifth. Yes.
Soon to be return of the Sixth.
Yes.
Hey.
Hey!
All the Star Wars.
All the Star Wars.
Yay! Star Wars. Groot. I'm Groot.
I don't have any
franchise, but cool.
I don't have any Star Wars with grabbing distance. I do have a Groot though, so I don't know what that means.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh wait, no, I got a little Chewie.
Yeah,
I got a little Chewie.
I got Obi-Wan Kenobi bobblehead.
Woo. And I'm wearing a hoodie.
There we go.
Hey,
We covered.
and I'm gonna cue the music.
I don't know what we're yelling about! We came, we saw, we kicked its ass!
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me you built a time machine? Kind of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it some style?
Who is this? What's your operating number?
Boring conversation anyway.
Whoa, we're gonna have company! Loud noises!
Hello.
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 I'm a Kendall Richardson.
I'm a Fulya and Michael.
And I'm the man with half a brain with two brains stuffed inside a Michael Lister.
And you are now experiencing a podcast called Fred.
Yeah, so you're experiencing it through the medium of Star Wars. There's so much Star Wars. Never mind all the memorabilia that's not Star Wars around me. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is not the merchandise you're looking for.
No.
Yes, it is the nerd national holiday, really, this weekend. It's our nerdy celebration for Star Wars fans. And yeah, we're definitely going to be touching on a few Star Wars things in this episode, which is pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to it. And I can't wait to maybe cry again. I'll just keep this is just going to be the Kendall Cries podcast from now on, because that's what I do. But yes, before we get to that, let's kick things off with the weekly watchings. Fulya, please take us through. Hello.
I've been very busy. Been doing the works and the and the theaters and all that jazz. So I haven't really had too much time to watch everything. So I need to catch up on Lego Masters and MasterChef. I haven't been able to watch any of them this week, unfortunately. I am so behind at the moment. I'm a week
I hope you haven't had anything spoilt for you.
No. Oh, well, I know that there's a Star Wars episode, and I know that there's going to be a Batman one, or something related to Batman at least. But other than that, I know nothing. So
Good.
But I have been watching a little bit of a few things. So whenever I get a chance, I've been sort of adding in One Piece episodes. Been watching through One Piece. Been watching One Piece on my lunch breaks at work, and yeah, just wherever I can find the chance, I'm just like, all right, let's just chuck on One Piece. A couple episodes, one episode here, one episode there. That's as much as I could really do with at the moment. But the other thing I have also watched and finally finished, and speaking of Star Wars weekend, is Star Wars Visions.
Hey.
So yeah, I managed to get through Star Wars Visions. I really, really love Star Wars Visions. This is season 2, by the way. So when it released, I only got around to watching the first 2 or 3. But today I was like, you know what? I have some time on my hands. I can watch the rest of them. So I managed to get through the rest of them. There's a few in there that I really enjoyed. In terms of the style of the animations. The Aardman one, that's very stop motiony. That was actually quite cute. The little pilot racing one. I kind of like that one, and embarrassing mom. Oh. Aw, poor thing. Can't relate, but yeah. There were also a couple of other things from that as well. I think one that intrigued me was which one was it? Something to do with Golak. I forgot the title of it, but Golak was in the title. That was actually a really cool looking, very Indian inspired sort of Jedis and the Force and all that sort of stuff. And it was really interesting. I like the art style of that too. The music was actually really cool. I really enjoyed the music in that episode. I really did.
Nice.
Yeah. And the last one was Our Song. That one felt like it was a stop motion, but I'm not quite sure if it was exactly. It had like a 3D CGI kind of a feel to it, but it still looked like it was stop motion because of the frames. You could kind of tell the way it moves, like it was a stop motion.
Right.
And it was really pretty. Just like the scenery and everything. It was just so pretty. I really, really loved that particular episode just because of how nice it looked visually.
Mm-hmm.
So that was actually really cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been watching this week.
That's good.
Over to you, Michael. What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? Yeah, I watched a couple of things. I finished off the second season of original X-Men animated, which is pretty
Nice.
good. Second season is basically a string of like individual stories, which is good. Like you get a story with Beast, you get a story with, and there's no real overarching sort of thing, which is okay. And I watched a little bit of the third season as well, and it looks like after the first two-parter involving someone coming back and who is a former love interest for Wolverine. Yeah, and then they discovered, we're going to deal with like outer space sort of stuff now. So we're getting into what 97 is dealing with, Charles going up in space sort of thing. So I'm getting to learn that now. And also they teased coming soon, the Phoenix Saga. It's like, okay, so I'm up to the season that's got this Phoenix Saga. So I'll be watching that again because I've already seen it in X-Men 3. Yeah.
And other movies.
And other movies that I haven't seen, because the sole reason why I haven't seen it is because I've already seen it. But but after the X-Men animation, I will be getting into the movies as well, and maybe the TV show Legion and all them. Maybe, who knows? Just so I'm all ready for Deadpool. And I'll be watching the Deadpool movies as well.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, Deadpool. Yes.
Yes.
Also, same Fulya, just one or two One Pieces. A couple of pieces of One Piece.
Couple of pieces.
Couple of pieces of One Piece. They've just reached the desert village, so I've done all that.
Yeah, Alabaster.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's all fresh. It's all new. So
No, I've gotten to the end of that.
okay, I'm catching up. You just wait. I'm gonna bypass you, and good. Yeah. That's going good. Chopper is cute. Yeah.
I love Chopper.
He's not yet the Scrappy Doo of One Piece just yet. Chuck in something cute now to get the ladies in. I mean, we've already got the men in because of Nani, and a lot of cleavage at the moment.
Waifu Central.
Come on, catering for everyone.
Waifu Central.
Awooga.
It's not. We've got husbandos, so it's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
all for it.
You got all your types if you want. You got Zoro or you got.
See, I'm a Zoro girl. I love Zoro.
Yeah, I like
Zoro.
Zoro too.
Oh, we got a couple of Zoro girls. And me, well, I've got either Nani or Chopper.
Nice.
Look, Chopper's awesome.
Yeah,
He's a doctor.
he is a doctor. For God's sakes,
He's a doctor deer.
yeah. For God's sakes, Luffy, I'm a doctor, not a deer man. Anyway, yeah, so just a couple of episodes of that. I can watch that with the kids as well as the X-Men stuff as well, so that's pretty fun. Something that I can't show my kids is a movie. I went to see the movies. Because I haven't seen a movie in a while, and I thought, okay, there's three that I want to see. Which one should it be? I saw Boy Kills World. That one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I watched that one instead of the other two. It was either Fall Guy or Godzilla X Kong, and I thought, I might have a look at this one.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not for everyone. It was an interesting story within itself. Sort of lost momentum by the third act because everything was hyping up for something, and then it just screeched to a halt of saying, okay, this is what's really happening. I was like, okay, cool, can we jam it up in? And then it just ended on to, it just ended. I thought, okay, not the best, not the worst. I suppose if you like very high action with some decent blood and gore, it's for you. My wife is pleading with me to go and watch the new the new Crow movie when it comes out because she likes the Crow and I haven't seen the Crow. And I've said, well, I don't need to see the original so I can just watch the new one under merit if it works or not. And then I can go back and watch that. I say that because Bill Skarsgård, who's also in this one, is the Crow. So I'll be judging that as like, which one do I like? The one that's seeking revenge in this one, or one seeking revenge in this one? It's like I like the Crow one, but you don't get to see a guy's head getting crushed by an anvil.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So, yeah, and yeah, bit of fun, but bit of buddy end. And I thought, shame. Yeah, big letdown at the end, really.
That's disappointing.
Could have kept the momentum, but it's like, okay, you need to talk about what really happens. Sweet, okay. So, not necessarily a 10 out of 10 recommend, but it's wait till streaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's basically what I've been watching. I haven't really been watching much. Besides the stuff that we're going to talk about later. Yeah. But also gearing up for Doctor Who, that's coming soon. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
So
Next week.
Yeah, so what about you, Kendall? What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? I've been doing lots of things. But as for my watching, I have 3 things I can share. The first being, I will say I am up to date on Lego Masters. And it's been great. And
Awesome.
I'm sad that we're getting into finals week already.
Already, I know.
Already, it's finals week this week, I think, or the week after. It's like this week or the next. I can't remember, but yeah, we're nearing the end already. It's only been like 3
Yeah.
weeks. They go
sad.
too. I know they go too fast. But
I suppose it makes sense because there's only 8 teams, so usually there's 10. So
Yeah, there's usually more teams, yeah.
yeah.
But I will say, Fulia, if you, like most of us, have not been enjoying the reign of the Germans, then you might have some fun with this week's episodes that you
Ooh.
I'm not going to say anything else. But that's all. I'll tease it. I'll tease
Look,
you.
all I'm saying is Annalena's not great.
And you're about to see her not be great continually. Just she has a couple of cool moments in the week just gone that I was like, okay, you're redeeming yourself for me a little bit, but then she does other things, and I'm just like, no,
Mm.
no, you're not a team player. But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, there's some really cool builds, and I'm looking forward to watching the Batman build that's airing right now, tomorrow. So that'll be sweet. Lego Masters is fantastic. Anyway, next up in my weekly watchings, I went to the cinemas twice this week. On the first time being on Tuesday, I went and saw Civil War, and no, not Captain America's Civil War.
I was
Even
going
though
to say, even if it was, you would have said Captain America's Civil War.
I probably would
right?
have, yeah. But I call that. I mean, shorthand. I call that movie Civil War anyway. Just
Okay,
'cause-
alright.
but and it was funny walking up to the. I said to a friend earlier today. I'm like, it was funny walking up to the kiosk or whatever and being like, one ticket for Civil War, please. But no, not the Captain America one.
I like to call it Avengers 2.5.
Yes, that's what I used to call it as well. Yeah. But no, this movie Civil War. This is yeah. Mike, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. It's really good. Fulia, this movie is not for you.
Okay. I was just about to Google it.
Yeah, it's a very good movie, a very timely movie, and very well made, but so eerily realistic. Because for those who don't know, it's basically about a civil war happening in today's America. And the United States is split off into three separate factions. There's like the US proper, and they're the bad guys, go figure. And then there's the Western forces, which is California and Texas, believe it or not. And then the third section, I suppose, is Florida. But I'm pretty certain, from what I remember in the movie, Florida is aligned with the Western forces. So it's really two sides against one side. Yeah, it was harrowing. It's kind of told through the eyes of war journalists. Kirsten Dunst plays this journalist who's, been around for many, many years. She's very famous for her, her photography and doing all of that. And and now she's, in the thick of it, with a small group of photographer and journalist friends, and they have to get from New York to Washington DC because they want to interview the president, and it's basically a suicide mission at this point, trying to get to talk to the president because he hasn't given an interview since the war started. And he's played by Nick Offerman, which I thought was a great great casting choice. Very good to see him, and play a bad guy. And I have to say this because, of course, I have to say this, but he said in an interview that he likened his version of the president to Sauron. which which made me laugh quite a bit, and I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. And then he kind of fits the bill in terms of he's like this lingering, hovering presence, and everyone talks about him, and then you don't really see him really until the end. So it's kind of similar presence wise in that way. And also, like, he's a ruler who wants everything to be done his way, to the point where they even say in the movie that this president gets a third term, and that doesn't happen. So,
Not supposed to.
Not supposed to happen. Yeah. So yeah, he's basically a dictator, but it's fine. But yeah, it was an amazing film. The last 20 minutes of this thing are an onslaught of just I was on the edge. I literally was on the edge of my seat, leaning forward, staring at what I was seeing, and it was just wow. Yeah, it's an incredible piece of filmmaking. So written and directed by Alex Garland, who gave us Ex Machina and Annihilation, and is part of what we talked about last week, Mike. 28 days, weeks, now years later. He's the writer of those movies.
Months,
So,
seconds, fortnights.
months, yeah. Yeah, timing. Yeah, so yeah, I recommend Civil War, but it's definitely not for the faint of heart. That's for sure. Yeah, I really liked it a lot.
Not a Fuji film.
Definitely not a Fuji film, sorry. No, you will find this very, very upsetting.
Especially if you're going to be traveling to America.
Yeah.
Let's hold off on that, shall we?
Yeah, let's not. It's around an election time too, Fulya.
You don't need to remind me.
You'll be fine. And then the final thing I'll mention I watched, because of course it is, May the 4th yesterday, Revenge of the 5th today. It's Star Wars week. I had the pleasure of going to see the re-release of The Phantom Menace.
Nice.
Yeah. First time seeing it on the big screen since I was a kid. My first time seeing it, like actually watching it in about 5 years, because I think the last time I watched it was when I did a retrospective rewatch in prep for Rise of Skywalker, and I did like a non-scripted rambling series on it back in the day, and so that was about 5 years ago. Time. So yeah, and just I watched this movie so much when I was a kid, like so much. Like I was sitting there and I'm like, I could quote this movie word for word almost, like every line, every moment. Yeah, it was great. It was really good to see on the big screen again and see like what the 4K remaster's done. I think it's worked for it in some areas and it hasn't in others. Because some of the visual effects have not aged well. Thanks, George. He tried. Yeah, and just like watching it, like as someone who's knows how to kind of, I don't know, judge good quality acting. I'm like, I've always said that George Lucas is not a good director in terms of directing actors, and I stand by that point still after watching this, because if you can make Natalie Portman wooden in her delivery, then I'm sorry. You don't know what you're doing, because, she won an Oscar. But anyway, that's my criticism. But yeah, it was fun. It was good. Jar Jar's great. I feel like he gets a bad rap. He's not, I don't know. But then again, the first time I watched that, I was 11 years old, or just about to turn 11 whenever it came out. He was made for someone like us back then when we were that age watching it, really. But even as an adult now watching it, I can see why people don't like him, but I'm just like, no, you're fulfilling a role. You're there to sell toys, and you're also there to be the comedic relief for reasons unbeknownst to us. But excuse me. One observation I took away from the movie that I really liked was the fact that, you know how a lot of us have been talking about Star Wars since Mandalorian started airing, particularly in the later seasons of Mandalorian, about how there's a reliance on nostalgia and member berries and, all of that, or like, Easter eggs and all that stuff. Fucking Phantom Menace is like the OG of that. I was sitting there watching it and I'm just like noticing everything. I'm like, wow, okay. Why are we being, why am I being so harsh on modern Star Wars for being so nostalgic, even though I do love it, like, but like, why is this a thing when like Phantom Menace did it in 1999? Like, it's just very interesting. And then of course going forward in the rest of the prequel trilogy, it was a thing too. But Yeah, but yeah, just C-3PO being there for no reason, basically. R2-D2 almost for no reason, but hey, he kind of he serves a purpose. He saves the ship. And just the fact that they go immediately back to Tatooine, and it was so funny watching this in a cinema filled with nerds, because the cinema wasn't full, but it was like probably 2/3 full, and people were laughing at interesting points. And as soon as Obi-Wan immediately mentioned Tatooine as some way to go and hide out, because he found it very fast. Someone behind me started laughing, and I was just like, it just tickled me.
But that's
Quite a
the
bit.
thing now, especially with
Yeah.
older films. Like, it's been memed to death. Like, I've been seeing a lot of because the Spider-Mans are all being re-released.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of fan reactions of people laughing at certain points because those particular things are being memed to death. It's like
Yeah.
it says the birth of Bully Maguire. And it was that scene where well, yeah, it's the birth of Bully Maguire when his best friend turns around and says, "Hey," and then truck goes and like disappears. And then he's in his room going, and people just laughing for no apparent reason, just because of the meme.
Yeah, it's probably true. There's probably a lot of that going on, and yeah, it's also kind of made me realize like the plot's fine. It's a lot of it's a bit, I don't know, but like, yeah, it's just interesting that George is like, no, let's go down this political route and make it super convoluted, but don't worry, it's all a ruse. The real plan is lurking underneath, and blah blah, and just Palpatine moving all the chess pieces into place.
All the pawns.
All the pawns. I do get a kick out of every time just watching Ian McDiarmid like get to pretend to be good, like
I will be Chancellor.
Yeah, I love the way he says that line. His delivery is so good. Yeah. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, it was good. It was good to see. It was good to see Phantom Menace again and on the big screen. Bit of fun. Bit of fun for Star Wars. May the 4th. Cool. Well, now that that's all out of the way, shall we dive into the week that was in the nerdy news?
This is the news in nerdy news. The nerds that talk about the nerdy news. That is us who talk about the news that is nerdy. And now the queen of nerdydom, the hostess with mostest, Kendall Richardson. Take it away, Kendall.
No Max Headroom at the moment.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, he doesn't have any hands, sorry.
No, he doesn't have hands. He's just a head, yeah.
And what a head.
What a head it is. Terrifies me. Anyway, yeah, Fulya is like, Max Headroom? You mean going over my head? Anyway.
No idea what that is.
Yeah, that's okay. You wouldn't get it, and it's kind of creepy to me, so...
It's fine.
It's fine. Okay, so, yes. Nerdy news. So I had to refine my train of thought then. So yes, so top of the news this week. Giancarlo Esposito. Speaking of Star Wars, we love him. He's great. We love to hate him even sometimes. Because he plays villains very, very well. But it looks like we have some confirmation that he finally is joining the MCU. This is not an official announcement by any means. No one from Disney or Marvel Studios has said anything. But this weekend he was at a comic book convention, CCXP, I believe that's the one down in Brazil. And he stated that he's in the MCU. He's going to be appearing in some form, in some movie at some point. But the basic, I don't know. We need to manage our expectations, potentially, because I mean he could be lying. But a lot of fans, as you guys probably know, wanted him to play Charles Xavier when the MCU eventually does the X-Men. I mean, they did the Krasinski thing with Multiverse of Madness, and you know, I could totally see a world in which Deadpool and Wolverine features a cameo of Giancarlo as Professor X. But I don't know. They had Patrick Stewart in Multiverse of Madness as well, so who knows? Probably not. That's just me putting it in the universe. But anyway, so yeah, he won't be playing Professor X, which is sad because he would have crushed that role. But whatever character he is playing, he will crush it. He teased that we're going to learn apparently more about this role sooner rather than later. Could be a Deadpool hint. Adding that it will be better than you can imagine. So, according to him, even though we're not getting him as Professor X, we could be getting something better. So, yeah, let the speculation begin.
Galactus.
I have no idea. Yeah. Galactus, yes, yeah. That would be
Mole
interesting,
Man.
Mole Man.
He's the first villain for Fantastic Four, so he's going to be in the Fantastic Four movie.
Wow. I mean, yeah, that's possible. That's possible. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just glad that they've, you know, finally, like, they've been trying to get him in the MCU for a few years now, so I'm glad. I suppose he doesn't have any more Star Wars to do, does he? I can't remember what happened to Moff Gideon at the end of Mando 3. Did he die? Can you remind me?
All his clones died, and he got flayed alive. So.
Oh yeah.
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 In the mountain.
Yes. Yes. So for some reason I've not remembered a bunch of that. Anyway,
He got roasted.
He got roasted. Yes. Okay. Yeah, he's dead. Okay. But it's Star Wars. I literally just was thinking. I watched Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace, and you know, Obi-Wan slices Darth Maul in half, and he falls down a long shaft, and you know, he wound up alive still. So anything's possible. Unless you're certain characters from a certain show we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Certainly. Later.
The dead stay dead.
Yeah. Fulya, do you have any thoughts on Giancarlo joining the MCU?
Look, he's a really great actor, so I am very much looking forward to seeing him in the MCU. Whatever the role is, I'm sure it's going to be great. Whether he is a protagonist or an antagonist, it doesn't even bother me. It's cool that we're going to get him in the Marvel universe, so that's going to be really cool. As for what character he might, like in terms of what I would think he would be, I honestly have no clue. Because I don't have the well-rounded knowledge of the Marvel comics to be able to give you like a name.
That's
so
fair.
Whatever happens, he's in it, and I'm looking forward to seeing who he is.
Nice.
Yes.
Good. That's pretty much my answer as well. Michael, what about you?
Me. Same. He's a terrific actor. He knows how to handle himself in any sort of role, being even comedic sometimes. Mostly off screen. He's a bit of a card. I can't wait to see what they put him in. It could be anything, and sooner rather than later, can only say it's probably Deadpool or the Fantastic Four that's coming up. So if it's sooner rather than later, I mean, Fantastic Four is coming out next year, so it's probably a Deadpool thing. So who knows? Maybe tease something in there. Maybe something for something in the post-credit scene for Deadpool.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a safe call. Yeah.
Yeah, so it could be anyone, not necessarily for X-Men. or Fox Universe side.
Mm.
A variant of Wolverine, maybe.
That would be
Yeah.
interesting.
Or he plays a variant. He's in a room and he plays a variant of everyone. All the X-Men. It's that.
All the
universe.
X-Men. Yeah.
Where he's
All of
Charles
them.
Xavier. He's also Magneto. He's also Gambit. He's. Imagine him with a Cajun accent.
Oh, my brain just went somewhere.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he was, I don't know if this is gonna happen. This could be a controversial thing, but if he was maybe the replacement for Kang.
Oh.
I have heard that.
Oh.
Maybe?
An older
Yeah.
Kang that looks like him.
I'd be down. I think the only thing that stops me giving that theory too much credence is the fact that I really feel like they're going to move away from the Kang stuff now. But
Yeah, probably.
But if they do keep Kang, I think that would be really cool to see. Yeah, to see what he could do. Yeah. Nice. I like that for you. Nice. Well done.
Well, the only variant of Kang that doesn't look like Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
He just does the voice. It's a great big lizard or something. Or a slug.
Just a slug. He's a slug.
This is my timeline. I'm a slug.
The MCU's Jabba the Hutt.
Yay.
Brilliant. Anyway, let's move on to our next item in the news.
Lovely.
Speaking of slugs,
Speaking of slugs,
I haven't seen the card, so I don't know what's next. Just stab in the dark.
I like it. I admire
Slug
your
adjacent?
courage, sir. You know, yeah.
A scaly
Unless
slug.
you're talking about slugging hits with your arms and your legs. Yeah. Next bit of news. If that wasn't a big enough hint for you, you won't be surprised to hear that we're going to talk about Cobra Kai because we finally got some news around the final season 6. Okay, they dropped a little announcement trailer this week that showed a bit of a montage of clips from the final season, and they also said that it's going to be 15 episodes long, which fucking yes please, thank you, I'll take it. However, those 15 episodes are going to be divided into 3, and before you say, wait, Kendall, that means it'll be 5 per thing. No, it doesn't. Netflix have not said how they're releasing these episodes and how many blocks. I think 5 per is a no-brainer, and as someone whose brain works in like nice, neat, and things that make sense. 5 per block would be nice, but no, I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, part 1 of the final season will be dropping on Netflix on the 18th of July. So the next couple of months, guys, is stacking up to be pretty strong in terms of content, I think. We've got some more stuff to talk about later. Part 2 is going to be dropping in November on the 28th, so around Thanksgiving for our American listeners. And then the final batch of episodes, part 3, will be dropping sometime next year. They haven't actually said when, but my theory is it's going to back up against the upcoming Karate Kid movie, which also stars Ralph Macchio. And Jackie Chan, because they're crossing the streams with their 2 Karate Kid franchises. Yeah, so that's what I think anyway. But who knows? It could if it doesn't back up against the movie, it might follow on afterwards, but or it may not even connect at all. I don't know. I just feel like if they haven't given a date, that might make sense because they just moved the Karate Kid movie. I think we talked about that the other day. But yeah, I'm excited. I love this show. It's fantastic. It's so much fun. It's such a good fucking sequel, adaptation, continuation of an iconic film franchise. And yeah, I really hope they stick the landing on the ending, because some of the episodes across the run have been a bit, especially in more later seasons. They're running out of steam, so I'm glad that they're ending it now. But yeah, I'm sure it will be good. I'm sure it will be good. Mike, are you excited for this? What do you think of the splitting into 3 for this season?
Well, that usually indicates that because they had it while they were filming, they were dealing with the writer's strike and
Yes.
and the actor's strike as well.
Yes.
So everything was sort of delayed. So therefore, they probably did half in the can. So this is pretty much the reason why is because the later half episodes aren't ready for the original. So they need more time to actually get that done, post production done. So
Yeah.
that's the sole reason. It's the same as it's close to the same as why Invincible was split into 2, because the other half weren't done.
Yeah.
So they had to have more time, and so they decided, well, we need to do this, and it's an interesting, weird way of doing releases, but yeah, sometimes it's called for, and sometimes it's narratively jarring. It's like, come
Little
on,
bit.
and then when it comes out, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot what happens here. And speaking of which, I can't remember what was the last episode from Cobra Kai because it's so long ago.
Spoilers for Cobra Kai. It was someone got arrested. I can't remember if it was Kreese or the ponytail dude. I've forgotten his name. Well, one of them got arrested. I think it was Kreese.
Yeah, and someone almost died but didn't die. And and I think I was pissed off. It's like, come on, you need a death in here. You need something substantial. But
yeah,
they're probably not going to do it. But
probably not. And because now as well, they're building up to they're building up to the bloody the world, like or I don't know if it's world championships or like there's a Japanese contest that they're going to be going to, which is like the pinnacle of karate. So they're all going to be, because now Cobra Kai has been, done. They're working on a way to, I don't know, get themselves up to snuff to enter the contest. I'm trying to find. Not that it matters.
And then the final episode is someone finds a sling ring and Ralph Macchio falls into a portal and ends up in the Jackie Chaniverse.
Yeah. Oh wait, Chris already went to jail. Yeah, no, I think he sent what's his name?
Other guy.
The other guy. Yeah, Chris was already in jail. I see. I'm getting everything. See, I'm getting what you're saying now, Mike.
Yeah, it deserves a rewatch.
Yeah.
At 1.5 speed.
Yeah, Terry Silver. That's the guy.
Who's younger than Ralph Macchio.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ralph Macchio is almost 70.
He's not almost 70.
Look it up.
I'm looking it up right now. If he's almost 70, then I'm just not believing anything anymore.
I don't believe you.
He is going to be turning 63 this year.
Yeah, almost 70.
Okay. Yeah, I knew he was like approaching 60, if not just past 60. So 70. Calm down. Anyway,
still older than me.
He's older than all of us. All right. I'm calling Gold Leader. That's enough of that. We've got one more thing to talk about in the news.
Speaking of Gold Leader.
Speaking of Gold Leader? You're doing that thing again, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm doing a thing.
Yeah, great.
All right. Speaking of Netflix, There we go.
There we go. Speaking of Netflix, our third and final item in the news this week is the fact that there is going to be a live-action Scooby-Doo series on Netflix.
Series.
Series, yes. It's going to be 1 hour episodes, and an adaptation of the cartoon of the original stuff, and the thing that makes me kind of excited is the fact it's being produced by Greg Berlanti, who is responsible for a lot of the Arrowverse stuff and a bunch of other really great movies and TV shows. He's a very talented filmmaker, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, interesting that we're getting this. I suppose it's only a matter of time before they decided to do a series in live action of Scooby-Doo. But it'll be curious to see what kind of form it takes, if they try and go nostalgic and they set it in the 70s, or if they make it contemporary and set it now. I don't know. I have a feeling this probably won't be for me, because I just got a feeling that it might be the latter, and it might be more aimed at the the Zoomers and the Alpha generation, Gen Alpha, whatever they're called. Yeah, I feel
settle down. That's my kids you're talking about.
Sorry. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it'll be my jam. But it'd be cool though if they kind of leaned into the horror stuff of it. But I know that's not like the core of Scooby-Doo. Like there's horror elements, but at the end of the day, it's a comedy.
There's a guy in a mask.
And there's a guy in a mask. And speaking of which, a lot of people want the guy in the mask in at least one episode to be Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
Because of course.
And Freddie Prinze Jr. And
yeah. Bring them all back.
Yeah.
Bring them all back. Yeah, well, the internet especially loves Matthew Lillard and his take on Shaggy, because I think it was during the pandemic or just before, but he became a massive, I don't know, I don't want to say meme, but it was kind of a meme. Just Shaggy, being this like omnipotent being.
100% alpha Shaggy.
Yeah. It is absolutely crazy. And so yeah, now with this announcement, a lot of people are like, bring back Matthew Lillard or it doesn't matter or whatever, they're just like ride or die for him, which I think is really nice.
We will riot.
And then you get
We will riot.
So I'm amazed. Why don't you get fucking Frank Welker as Fred?
Yeah. Why not?
This 7-year-old guy acting like a teenager. Hey, gang.
Hey, fellow children.
Hey, fellow children. Wearing his mask on.
Yeah. That'd be great. Fulya, what do you make of this news? Does this interest you at all, or you might pass?
So it really comes down to how they take it. So back, when we had the original live action films of Scooby-Doo, they were kind of like, when I was growing up, they were kind of my favorites. I actually really enjoyed them, especially the first one. Is that the one that go to the spooky island?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. I love that movie so much. So much so that inspired the roller coaster ride at the Gold Coast at Movie World.
Yeah.
Well, and coincidentally, they actually filmed it in Australia.
In Sydney, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
So they just asked the prop makers, was like, "Can we have this?" I was like, "Sure." Yeah. Oh, we don't have to make anything.
I've been on that ride every time I go to the Gold Coast and I go to Movie World. I am on that ride. I don't care how long the queues are. I'm on that ride because it's so much fun, and it's not like too spooky to the point where it's going to really scare you. Because obviously it's a family themed park, so they've got to account for the kids. So it's still a little sort of eerie and spooky, but it's so much fun the way that the ride goes, and it's not like a full-on roller coaster where there's loop-de-loops or anything like that, but
Okay.
it's almost like going through. You're in a minecart, kind of essentially, and you're going around. You go around sharp corners, so you get sort of like hit around side to side a little bit. And then there are parts where you go underneath pendulum swinging, knives. And then there are also parts where you go up this lift, you go into the lift forward, you go up the lift, and then you come out of the lift backwards. And you
No,
sort of
no,
go down
thanks.
to a dip. And
Nah,
it's
no.
so
I'm
much
out.
fun, though.
You had me. Look, Fulya, you had me until then. I would rather go through the tunnel with knives and shit than anything to do with.
Kendall, it's not that bad. It's not even that high. It's just
Kendall,
like
it's for children.
yeah, kids go on that ride.
Did I stutter?
Did I fucking stutter?
No, I don't like the sensation of falling. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate
no,
it.
that's fair.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of having a live action movie coming up soon, I suppose. Well, series I should say. I don't know, like a series sounds better than a movie, to be honest, because that's how the original cartoon series was.
Yep.
And it kind of makes sense too, because then you can have a little bit more than just one or two of them in terms of like a full-on movie. So, but the thing is, if they're going to be like 50 minutes to an hour long, that's still a lot of content they've got to put in.
Yeah.
The cartoon was always like 20-minute episodes, and they went through it like quickly. They go through from start to finish of this whole mystery, revealing the person at the end by the end of it in like 20 minutes. So I don't know, like I feel like if they're doing a live action series, I think they're trying to cater more to the adults more so.
Younger,
I don't know if I don't know how much the kids will really enjoy this. Especially if they're going to look into leaning into the horror elements a little bit more, like the supernatural stuff. And if they got like, I would like to see, and this is just where my brain goes, I would like to kind of see Scooby-Doo go in the same direction, kind of similar to the CW Supernatural. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah,
It'd be kind of interesting in that sense, but then by the end of it, they reveal how it's all done by whoever they reveal the mask, who's under the mask and all that sort of stuff.
So what you want is Scooby Natural in live action.
Exactly. I want a Scooby Natural. We need Dean, and we.
Oh my god, that would be like the perfect excuse to get Jared and Jensen
yes,
back.
100%. My only concern is going to be with Scooby-Doo himself.
Oh yeah, good call. How are they?
Because if they're going to do a CG dog, kind of like what they did with the live action films, they got away with it back then.
They did.
I don't think they'll be able to get away with it this time. They won't be able to.
Probably
it
not.
needs to be spot on, like really done really well for people to consider it to be almost like it's a real life Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
It's either going to be that, or they're going to get a dog that is like almost similar to the look of Scooby-Doo. I don't know about the snout though. That's the problem.
I have seen
Great Dane?
Yeah.
Ready?
Great Dane, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
A short head.
That poor dog's going to get like hair colored if that's the case. They'd need to find a chocolate colored Great Dane in order to make
Painted
it work.
on spots.
Yeah, just put on a couple of spots and that's it. But again, I'm just a little concerned with how Scooby-Doo himself is going to turn out in this live action. That's my only concern. Yeah.
That's a valid concern that I didn't even think of, so well pointed out for you.
Yeah. Sorry, I have my little rant. They just
No.
went everywhere.
No, that's great. That's totally fine. That's what this podcast is, remember?
Yes. Yeah.
Rants and tangents. What we should have called ourselves. Mike, what do you make of all this?
Kind of interesting. I'm still thinking I think because they had a bit of a success with like the Riverdale series, I'm thinking it'll be more like a Riverdale, like a monster a week, but there's an overarching story of
Right.
where they are, and also with the Wednesday show as well, it sort of had that sort of feel. I mean, you could do like some CGI stuff that looks not realistic, but it's still within that sort of universe. Not necessarily full on realistic like things. I mean, this is Hanna-Barbera we're talking about. Just been adapted for live action TV. Something a bit more light-hearted than any of those, because you probably need it. And come on, can we? You don't need to dance around that. Shaggy is a stoner, not necessarily blunt out of his mouth coming out of the van. It's like, oh man, yeah.
He's always got the munchies.
yeah, eating dog food.
Yeah.
Which is
he gets high on Scooby snacks.
Yeah, well, he's eating Scooby snacks because he's high. Not vice versa.
Yeah.
The Scooby snacks are edibles? What?
Yeah. And Shaggy actually comes from money, so he's sort of slumming it. So he's just a rich kid, just skiving. Anyway, yeah, that would be an interesting. Yeah, probably a cameo for it, if you can get it. A cameo from previous people who do the Scooby Doo stuff. I mean, oh shit, what's her first name? Something Richie. Original Wednesday from the Wednesday.
Oh, Christina Ricci.
Yeah, Christina. I couldn't remember her first name. I was going to say Rashina Rishi. Rishi. Yeah, and having her in the Wednesday show was really good. Even though it sort of ruined the ending for me. It's like, well, you hired this actress to do this for a smile and a wink to the audience, and you just only use her for a couple of scenes. Surely she's got to do more. And yeah, spoiler alert, she's big bad. Anyway,
She does a lot more. Yes.
Does a lot more. She's jealous of Wednesday because I can't remember. Needs a rewatch, just like Cobra Kai. Anyway, I'm excited for that. When's it coming out?
We don't know. There's no release window at this time. No, it's just been announced, so we will find out later.
Later down the track.
Later down the track.
And a track that goes backwards as well. Oh, falling.
No.
Yes.
Talk about a backtrack. Anyway, that's the nerdy news. Let's roll on up to the trailer park.
Rolling up to the trailer park where we all park all the trailers.
Okay. Trailer park time, and boy howdy, do we have some cool trailers to discuss this week. I'm keen for your opinions, and apologies to Fulya for making her watch the boys trailer. I'm sorry. But I digress. Before we get to that one, of course, we must first touch on the second trailer for The Acolyte. Because holy shit. I am so much more in now. Not that I wasn't before. Of course I was in. I was going to watch this show regardless. And the first trailer was very good, and it, is giving us a nice look of the world of this, so many years before the galaxy of Star Wars that we know. And yeah, that in and of itself was great, and that just continues to be the main draw, I think, for me and a lot of people I know, is like they're touching on stuff we've never seen before, which is exciting. And the fact I think that this trailer reveals, it was probably already announced or confirmed or whatever or theorized, but now I'm just like extra excited because it looks like we're getting the origins of the Sith. And fuck yeah, I'm here for that. I am so here for that. Excuse me.
It's the year of the Sith.
It's the year of the Sith. Yeah, holy crap. That is fantastic. Yeah, like there's this whole intriguing plot going on around someone killing Jedi, and then surprise, surprise, she's a former Padawan. And then whatever her connection is to the Sith, I don't know, but that will be revealed and whatnot. But I just love that fight, the ending of this trailer with this, this unknown Sith just unleashing its lightsaber, and you get the red, and it's just such a cool image. But then what really grabbed me was the helmet that this person was wearing. How it looked like, and I usually don't like teeth on things or like skeleton or anything like looking like that. I find it really creepy, and I found this creepy, but in a good way, because it just the little notches on its helmet looked like teeth, and it just looked like a. Anyway, it was very aesthetically pleasing. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So that had me very excited, and I think the other thing that I really liked about this trailer was the cinematography. Was really cool. There's a couple of really cool shots, and I'm sure you'll probably both agree. But when the ships are going through this like ice field or meteor field or something, and there's this one shot in particular where it comes out of it, and the way the camera kind of goes with the ship as it's passing through, like it was just really, really cool. So I really enjoyed that shot a lot. Yeah, this trailer was great. I'm very excited, and we don't have to wait too long for this one either. So that's gonna be good. Gonna be very, very good. I am chomping at the bit. Fulia, how are you feeling about the Acolyte?
I'm curious about this, to be honest.
Mhm.
Like the fact that it's kind of like a Jedi story, but it's adjacent to it. It's the darkness to the light. And it's really interesting. It's a lot darker than a lot of other shows and movies that we've seen. By the looks of it all. Yeah, it's really interesting. And I'm just very curious. The only thing I will say, like, some of the hairstyles in some of these characters is a little weird, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of some of the hairstyles, but
Yeah, okay.
yeah, but look, overall, just aesthetically, like you said, like the way that the ships are going through those crystally sort of things in space, it just looks really amazing. And yeah, just the kind of for some reason I thought it was like a Kylo Ren lookalike kind of helmet. That's what that sort of reminded me.
Yeah, a
Me
little
of
bit,
him
yeah.
a bit. But yeah, it's just gonna be interesting. I'm very intrigued by this story. So, and the fact that it's made by the people who made The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Andor, like it's gonna be great. Like regardless, it's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Mike, how did you find this latest trailer for The Acolyte?
I like the fact that we've got a more of a grasp of what the story is instead of just a synopsis of when it is in this particular time frame of Star Wars. And yeah, it's a lot more interesting now that we're actually focusing on sort of a rise of the Sith, or this version of the Sith. I like the fact that you have sort of the archetype multiple characters that we haven't really met yet, but you can sort of see what they were going for. Like it's still the master and the apprentice, and instead of choosing which side, it's the relationship between the master and apprentice. And if an apprentice goes rogue, it's their is it the master's responsibility to actually bring him back because they are the master? And then who knows by the end, maybe the Padawan becomes the teacher. We don't know. And I like the fact that it's all up in the air, and it's so far in the past that you can actually do whatever you want and not touch like the canon. So you can sort of have the subtle hints of member berries maybe because buildings and that or whatever. And yeah, I like the fact that the showrunner who likes Star Wars wants to do a Star Wars, but actually deliberately got one person to actually in the writers team who doesn't know anything about Star Wars, so they can actually go to them saying, does this really make sense? So you can sort of have that sort of outsider looking in of seeing.
That's cool.
Yeah, of making something a bit more fresh and a bit more, fresh to the eyes, instead of people going, I like Star Wars because of the laser sword. It's just like, well, why is there a laser sword? I don't understand. Oh, because, I mean, that's the sort of thing that could harm a TV show. Like, bearing in mind, I do love The Mandalorian, but sometimes, it can get a lot of people offside because it's so deep in lore that you you buckle under the weight of knowing have to know this sort of thing in order to get sense out of the story that they're doing. And that's why Endor is a breath of fresh air, because it's not dealing with stuff that we already know. It's dealing with the little people, the people who are suffering under the regime of the Empire, as well as people who are within the Empire and trying to work the sort of bureaucracy of the Empire. And I suppose this is probably going to do the same thing. It's going to be like the Jedi law and how individuality and essentially like what's under the veil of a religion of this sort of caliber. And it's really cool. And I love the fact that certain members of the fandom are bent out of shape because a woman is doing it. Anyway.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So when is this coming out, Kendall?
Yes, The Acolyte will be dropping on Disney Plus in, I believe, a 2-episode premiere on the 4th of June.
Cool. So that means there's going to be a bit of a cliffhanger at the end of the first one.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. And then it's like, it's all right, there's a second episode.
Yeah.
Instead
it's okay, guys.
Having that on your conscience for a week.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it's going to be 8 episodes for the series, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice and short.
Nice, short and sweet. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Our second trailer. Speaking of things I love, The Boys. Season 4.
You love boys.
Is the time that
I love boys.
No, as I said, I like to hear the perspective of someone who absolutely detests violence and graphic detail. So please.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to be asking Fulya for some kind of comment. Don't you worry.
So you better think of something.
Yes, you better think of something. Anyway, this was good. This is a great trailer. It's a bit of fun. Interesting that there wasn't a lot of Homelander in this trailer, which kind of excites me. I think maybe they're saving a lot of stuff of him for the actual show. So that's kind of exciting. I kind of feel like this is going to be a return to form in terms of where the team is at this season, because the last couple of seasons things went fucking off the rails. And look, they're definitely going off the rails here if the, you know, there's a chicken bursting through someone's chest and Frenchie's just saying, "Why is this happening to me again?" Um, then yeah, there's definitely some fucked upness on the way. But yeah, it looks great. I love Butcher so much, and you know, seeing Carl Urban at was it Supernova I think last year, or Comic Con, one of the two he was at, and he talked about it a bit, and he mentioned Jeffrey Dean Morgan, being in this, and so we get to see a little clip of him. But you know, he did kind of hype up season 4 as being, you know, just so much fun, fucking crazy as always, and yeah, there's going to be some great shit coming. So yeah, it's great, and you know, if you're a keen watcher, you'll have spotted a couple of the characters from Gen V in the trailer as well, which is cool and also sad. But that's all right. I had a feeling they were going to show up. So but yeah, this looks bonkers and awesome, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. I don't have much else to say. So Fulia, I will preface this by saying, you know what The Boys is. You didn't have to watch it, but yet you did. I'm curious as to why.
Morbid curiosity.
I don't know. It was there. I'm like, all right, let me see what's gonna happen next, even though I have no idea what's happened in the past. So I just sat down and watched it because I'm like, it's on the news, it's in the doc. Still don't want to watch it. I'm good.
You good?
Moving on.
Even without the possibility of a chance to watch your mate Knuckles?
Oh, man, as much as I really want to, I know I'm not going to like this series because I won't be able to get through it to get to that point. I won't.
No, she's going to be done with the opening scene.
This trailer was just OT. It was too much.
OTT.
OTT for me. I can't help. I just can't.
Nope,
Too much
that's
blood
okay.
and guts and cutting of saws with legs and no.
And chickens.
And chickens going all alien style.
Bursting out of someone's chest.
Super chickens. And super...
There's something going on with animals, because then there's that shot afterwards of like
a
flying...
ram flying
Yeah.
in the sky.
Yeah, what the hell?
Someone being thrown into a building and they go splat.
Yeah.
Well, that's what a body does.
And
Yeah.
a room full of dead, bloody people.
Yeah.
Michael, take it.
Okay.
Take it.
Take it, please. Take it.
Take it off my hands.
Wasn't
I don't want it.
Jensen Ackles cast in something? Can't
Was he
remember.
cast in something?
I think he was cast in something, and maybe I can't remember. I think he was cast in something, and all I could think was Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
I mean, after doing Soldier Boy, it's like you can't really do a superhero movie. I think it was a superhero movie. I can't remember. Maybe is he playing Clark Kent? No, never mind. Anyway, The Boys. Yes, I do like this show. It's harrowing because it does do it is showing what real life could be with superheroes, and I'm all for it because I am a sick individual and I enjoy this sort of thing. Uber violent blood and gore with a little bit of political satire within and dealing with that. And yeah, it looks like everything's going to be going tits up, considering the ethical question: if you had a virus that could kill all soups, and all soups are bad, considering you have Starlight in your team. Would you do it? Would you do it, Bully? Would you do
Yep.
it, Bully Bush? Yeah, so I can't wait for that. Yeah, there could be a reason why there's not much Homelander in this, but yeah, could be reasons. Don't want to give too much, and yeah, let the Civil War commence on this date that Kendall has in front of her.
Yes, on the 13th of June.
Coming up.
Yes. Three episodes are going to drop at launch, which is what The Boys has done every year since its inception.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Since its beginning, so, and then week to week after that. So
nice.
Let's go. All right. Last trailer for this week is a little teaser, completely opposite to what we just talked about, and this is of course for Mufasa, the Lion King. Yeah, do it again. Mufasa. Love it. Okay, so I'm really keen for your guys' thoughts on this because, I think we're all kind of in unanimous, agreement that live action adaptations from Disney are kind of just big money wasters and time wasters and blech, and we don't want to give them our time.
All of them.
However, I don't think I'm gonna go watch this, but this is kind of the more live action adaptation I'm sort of interested in. It's not even an adaptation; it's an original story, but it's connected. Like they're billing it as it being connected to the live action adaptation of The Lion King, because Beyonce is coming back as Nala, and her daughter's gonna play young Nala. So I believe that's what it is. Yeah. This is an original story, and I'm kind of curious, like, what's Mufasa's origins? They're talking about him not, being of noble birth, which is interesting. I didn't know that was a thing, in the Mufasa canon. So that's intriguing. And the soundtrack's done by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and we enjoy him quite a bit. So the songs at least are going to be very good. I can see a best song nomination at the Oscars next year. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably not going to watch it just because I don't think they've learnt anything from the last one. Because like this looks very similar to the last one, in terms.
Mads Mikkelsen isn't pulling.
Okay. Look, you make a point, Fulya, and it's a valid point. But I don't know who he's playing, and I'm not gonna get to look at him. I'm just gonna get to hear him. So I don't know. Maybe I'll go for him. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I know someone will be going for him, so I'll probably go with her. Hi, Christina. Yes. But yeah, that's very curious. I don't know what character he's playing. I'm sure he's whoever the bad guy is. It's probably that one.
Well, if you're curious, the name is Kyros.
Kyros. Okay, thank you. I didn't look up. I'm not Kyros enough. Curious. No, that joke doesn't work, does it?
Just leave it.
Yeah,
absolute chaos.
But anyway, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this one goes. I'll be curious to see how it's received by the public as well, considering the reaction to the live action Lion King, how that went down. So, Fulya, what did you make of this one?
Wow. So, I wasn't a huge fan of the first live adaptation of The Lion King. This one, I'm not convinced yet, but for some reason, I think they may have listened to the audience about the whole facial expression comments that everybody's been having. I feel like they've added a little bit more facial expressions into the animals. More so, the lions at the moment, from what we could see in the trailer. There's a little bit more in there, and I'm like, okay, they're sort of getting there, but they still want to keep it as like very Discovery Channel-esque animals, live action animals. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced enough to go to the cinema to see this. I think I'm going to be waiting until it comes to Disney Plus.
Ooh.
I don't think I want to pay money to see this. Just because fair enough. Look, the first one burnt me, and this is a prequel, supposedly, or maybe a storytelling from Simba and Nala's perspective, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not convinced enough to go out of my way to go see Mufasa, the live action of The Lion King again. So it's like, I think I'll wait, watch it at home when it's available on a streaming service, knowing that it'll be on Disney Plus at some point. It's usually like a month or two, maybe 3 months after it's finished showing at the cinemas. So, yeah, I'll wait. I like you, Kendall. I'm gonna wait on what everybody else thinks. At the moment, there's no real hype for it. People aren't hyped for this at all.
No.
Because because of what they've experienced from the first one, they all think that this is going to be a second time round. It's going to do the same thing, which I don't blame them. So, yeah, that's my thought. I'll still end up watching it, but I just won't be going to the cinema for it. Yeah.
Yep, not fair enough. That's okay. No. Thank you for your honest take. I appreciate it very much. Very good.
The one thing that I am happy to see is the sheer amount of talent that's going to be in this film in terms of voices.
Yeah, it's a great cast. Yeah,
it's a really good cast. Donald Glover, Simba, Keith David, quite a few people in here. So a lot of them I'm not quite aware of myself. But yeah, it's looking pretty good in terms of the casting, at least. And we're getting Seth Rogen to be like, no, back for Mufasa.
Oh, you gotta have them. Gotta have them.
All right, Mike, what do you reckon?
Well, I'm not excited. I can't remember if I've watched it, like the original, the first movie, because the live action first movie. I think I fell asleep in the middle of it because I thought, it's the same thing and it's boring. But my wife's excited, so I'm probably going to have to be forced to watch it on a date night. That's if something else is out, and then I say, hey, you can go and watch that, and I can go watch something else. Which we've done before, because no, I'm not giving money. I'm not giving money to them. No, they need to learn to not do this.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you can't entice me with Maz Nicholson. Yeah, so I'm sort of in the same boat for everyone else, except I'm probably going to be forced to watch it. And when am I going to get forced to watch it, Kendall?
On the 19th of December, just in time for Christmas.
December?
What great timing.
Wait. Well, which
Why
day?
why not just wait till Boxing Day? Like, I don't know.
19th. You know what? I think there's other movies that are more important that are coming out then.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can't wait for something else.
Yes. All right. That's Trailer Park done. We're rolling on out. And that brings us, of course, right into a quickie review.
Quickie review.
Ooh, nice. Quickie review time. We're gonna have a quick chat, a quickie chat even, about this week's episode of X-Men 97, which is part 1 of the 3-part finale, Tolerance is Extinction. This show just keeps getting better and better. I don't even know what to say anymore about
Right?
it.
Oh
Like,
my goodness.
yeah, this is just fantastic. Yeah, I really like it so much. Just the twists that keep happening, and the action is so good. Like, there were some great action scenes in this episode. I particularly really enjoyed, there was like a great like superhero landing shot with Cable and Jean and Scott that I thought was really cool. Except that's the third Blackbird in as many months. Cyclops. Jesus.
The Summers family.
The Summers
Yeah.
family. Yeah, I thought that was.
Mum, Dad, and stepmom.
Yeah. I thought that was really, really cool. And then yeah, obviously we got to learn who Bastion is. You know, what exactly he is and why he's after mutants and all of that. And I kind of really like how unsettling it is that you know, when he's explaining his evil plan to the UN chick, and you know, showing off how he turns these, you know, humans into these, you know, sentinel human hybrid things, and he talks about how the person has no memory of doing it, of having it done to them, after they leave, and like, you know, he's also talking about how they're people that you know, are kind of seemingly against mutants, or like, or they're scared for the future, right? And it's just, when you get to the end of it, towards the end of the episode, and you see how many of those sentinel human hybrids there are, and the fact that one of them is what's her name, Tilby, fucking Beast's girlfriend, and I love Wolverine. Like, you need to, I need to have a chat with you about your taste in women. That was very funny. But
Yeah.
but yeah, the fact that there's so many people that have willingly signed up for this, is kind of scary, and sad, and terrifying, and but also really great storytelling. I think that says a lot, about the world that this show is set in, and all of that. I just think it's really, really clever. So yeah, I'm trying to remember what else happened in the episode, because I watched it. I watched it again this morning, but I'm very tired, and I've had a big couple of days.
A lot did happen.
A lot did happen, but yeah, if I think of anything else I need to comment on, I might just put my hand up and shout out. But it's fucking fantastic, and you know, we're setting up for some great stuff. And Professor X came back right at the end. You know, conveniently, I love Wolverine's
nick
like,
of time.
yeah, where's the professor when you need him? Well, here he is.
I mean,
and
a bit late, but you know.
a little bit late. Well, yeah. But I do love how they keep using this phrase, "to me, my X-Men." I think that's fucking awesome, and the fact that
He said it. He said it.
He said the line. Leonardo DiCaprio pointing me. He said the line. Yeah, it's really, really good. Oh, and one more. Okay, I remembered the one other scene I really wanted to talk about. there's probably more, but anyway, I really loved the fight scene with Wolverine and Nightcrawler. That was awesome. That was really
Nice.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got 6 reasons right here.
Make it
No.
9.
9.
9.
9. But like just the fact that like like Kurt's fighting with all these swords, and the music was so cool. Like they had that those violins going in the background. Oh man, it was killer. It was great. It was great. But anyway, this was a fantastic episode. I can't wait to see where this is going.
And
There's 2 more episodes left.
and in that fight, you get to see what happens when you bamf.
Yes, that's right.
How
We
cool
get to
was that?
That was very cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. What did Wolverine do? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
He travels.
Yeah, he traveled. He surely did. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then Magneto got let out, and I loved the UN chick and how she gave a little speech to Bastion and before she died, and was like, yeah, Magneto was right. And like now we understand. Like, you remember when like we were watching Remember It and we're seeing those signs in Genosha saying Magneto was right, and it calls to mind the whole Thanos was right thing from
Yeah, I think that is
you
a
know.
deliberate parallel.
Yeah, but it's so good that they laid that groundwork then. It's only a few episodes ago, but like now here we are, have the saying coming back, and now we have a whole new context, a whole new meaning behind it, and it's just it's so good. The writing on this show is just amazing.
Can I tell you, if you didn't know, the UN chick, the voice actress for that was actually the original voice actress for Jean Grey in the original show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, she has said, well, I don't really sound like Jean Grey anymore because age.
Yeah,
and so,
age.
and so yeah, they got her to do that, and I thought, well done for that.
Yeah, very well done. That's very, very cool. Yeah, it was fantastic. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Fulya, what did you make of this week's episode? What were your favorite moments?
Oh man, if I can remember them all, because I watched it on Wednesday night because it was the only time I had. I did enjoy the scene with Nightcrawler and Wolverine when they're fighting together. When he bamfed in, being like, "Hey, 9. How about 9?" The fact that he's using his sword, his tail as well, to fight with, like a monkey kind of a thing.
If you can.
Kind of reminds me of Zorro. He uses 3 swords. The 3rd sword is in his mouth instead.
We need to find a third person to do that, and then we can do fuck, marry, kill.
But anyway, that was a really cool scene. Just everything sort of coming together in terms of the story arc, just sort of coming to its conclusion, and there's still some bits that we're still missing. We realize now that Magneto was being held captive for was it Sinister, or was it
Bastion was holding
Bastion.
Magneto.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, sorry, my brain trying to remember things. Did they mention why they were holding Magneto?
Well, people thought he was dead.
Yeah. No, but did we get an explanation from Bastion or something?
I don't know. I don't think they actually have explained why. I think it's more of a case of like Magneto didn't die in Genosha, so Bastion's taking him captive. But part of me feels like he had a plan for Magneto.
Yeah, I think so too.
And this is who knows? This could be part of the plan. Maybe, I don't know, because certain.
What if in the parts that we like, the parts that wasn't shown about Magneto was that he's already done what he needs to do with him, and now that he's let free, something could trigger it, and then all hell will break loose. I don't know, in the next couple of episodes. I don't know. That's just kind of where my brain's going.
I mean, yeah, it's entirely possible. That would be a
Mm.
pretty big kick in the guts for Magneto if he was another piece of the puzzle, part of the plan, sort
Big
of thing.
possibility.
Yeah.
It is definitely a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was an interesting episode from what I can remember. Sorry, my brain don't work very well.
So
It's okay. It's all right.
I might jog
Why
you
I
in
rely on
memory.
you two.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was it was good fun. Like just seeing all the action and all that sort of stuff, and yeah, that's pretty much all I can really remember. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
It's all
fine.
good. It's all good.
It's totally fine. Mike, what about
Hello.
you? How much did you enjoy this one?
I really enjoyed this episode. It was a good start for a 3-parter because it could go anywhere, and I liked the direction that it's going towards. Like all these episodes is a breakneck pace of of things setting up and then completing and then up to the next one. I love the fact that there is a lot more interconnectivity to other MCU stuff in this. I mean, Kamatage gets name dropped.
Yeah.
So therefore, and what makes me think that they're not going back to save Genosha. I think that's an absolute set time. So
Yeah.
so Gambit is probably dead in real life.
Yeah.
So cool.
Nexus point.
Yeah, it's a Nexus
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah.
good that characters stay dead because you get to learn from it, and we get to see what happens at the end of this. Also, I enjoy the the banter between the Summers family.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the line when Jean says to Scott that because he was wondering, well, if Charles was still here, he would teach me how to be a dad. It's like, well, you don't really get taught being a dad. You have to live it. And I have to go, respect for that line.
Yeah.
With my situation. But, yeah, I really enjoyed that. And, yeah, with that scene with the Summerses in a Porsche. I like that. And the little smirk that Scott does is like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can have fun in dire circumstances. Yeah. There was another thing. Yes, when Bastion is doing that the council of bad guys, I love the fact that they put in Doctor Doom. Because it's the first time that the MCU has used Doctor Doom. And it's like, so setting that up. And also, what's his name? Oh, crap.
Well, Zemo was there.
Zemo, yeah. And all his comic gory. Yeah, Zemo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was on the television screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
They didn't name him, but that's him.
You can...
I
Yeah.
obviously wasn't paying very good attention.
I only realized it was Zemo because the first time I watched it on Wednesday, I watched it with someone and they were like, "Oh my god, it's Zemo!" And I was like they didn't say, "Oh my god, it's Zemo," but they reacted, and I was like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "Okay." Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and then someone else, and there's a few like Easter egg comic book characters in this episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
including one big one when Magneto did his big destroying the entire the entire electrical system in the entire world. We get to see little Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man shows up. Yeah. That's right.
It's like,
That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I like the ending because people have speculated that when Magneto did that thing, that means all power was out. So therefore, and we get to see it with I think he's called the Red Baron or whatever it's called. He was locked up in that Russian nuclear survey plant, nuclear plant, and all the electricity shut off. And if anyone who has seen Chernobyl knows what happens there.
Yeah.
So inadvertently, Magneto has declared war on humanity, and he's killed a lot of people.
Yes, he
including
has.
people with like pacemakers and on hospitals and all that. So yeah, shit's getting real.
In a cartoon.
Shit's getting very real. Yep.
So yeah, I can't wait for the next 2 weeks. And finally Charles is here. Where have you been, man?
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. You got some splaining to do.
Yeah. You made the entire world thinking you died as a martyr, and then all of a sudden he's around. Against the mutants again. Magneto was right. We need to destroy all humanity, or else they'll rise up and kill us.
I think this is kind of the reason why, because I never watched the original animated series from '92. So now I'm getting to a point where once this season's done, I kind of want to go back and watch the original series.
Yeah.
And just kind of like what I did with Rebels when I watched Ahsoka. I just want to go back, get all of the references. So just watch through the original animated series and just understand the story up until that point where Professor X ends up leaving the planet.
It's very tame.
Yeah.
Like, as a kid's show was in the 90s, you can't really explore too much into it, but there are like subtle hints of this stuff is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I was quite surprised when I first saw the first episode. I was like, oh, this is some adult shit right here. A lot of thinking stuff.
Yeah.
And as I said, guys, you should watch this.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Like I did for Chippendale.
Yeah. I will say one final thought on this week's X-Men. I feel like, I mean, it's a nitpick, but I feel like it's been too long since we've seen Storm. I would have thought she would have returned to the team by now, and clearly she's going to be in next week's episode, but I don't know. Do you guys think it makes sense for her to not have come back just yet, or what do we reckon?
I think if I was going to do a rewatch, I would figure out what sort of timeline there is. Like, in between, like, when we see Madeline, between the ending of the arc where she becomes a Goblin Queen and to being a leader of Genosha. I think there was like a couple of months in between that. And it didn't feel like that watching it from week to week. It was like, oh, you're here. And it definitely, like, I think there were subtle hints in the show where Scott's saying, well, it was a couple of months and then she was doing this thing. And yeah. So I'm thinking there is a sort of like timeline sort of thing. So, and the last time we saw Storm was witnessing Genosha. So I'm thinking maybe there's only like a couple of days in between that and where we are now. So maybe she's, I don't know, packing a bag for a couple of days. I don't know. Must be a reason. I don't know.
Yeah, must be a reason.
But band back together, and maybe she was just waiting for Charles to say, "To me, my X-Men." Calling.
Maybe.
Diddle-diddle-diddle-diddle.
Yep.
Mhm.
Good stuff.
And sometimes you
Yeah.
need to get the god out of the road so you can actually
Yeah.
not have an ex machina. I mean,
Yeah, that's fair.
essentially what the first episode was. It's like, get
Mm-hmm.
Storm in to deal
Yep.
with Megamind.
Yeah.
Master Mold, sorry.
Mega Mold.
Mega Master Mold.
Master Mold. Mega Master Mold. I don't know what he's called. Yeah, Master Mold.
Mega Man. Mega Man.
Mega Man. Mega Man. Okay, that'll do it for our quickie review of X-Men 97.
So quick.
Tolerance. So quick for us. Tolerance's Extinction, Part 1. Can't wait to see where this goes. Very exciting.
Part 2 and Part 3.
Yeah. But now that means it's time
Yes.
for the segment,
Yes.
the section,
Mmm.
the part,
Right.
the place,
Really.
the spot,
Ah.
the thing,
Follow orders.
the the batch of the show we like to call.
Popcorn culture.
Woo.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes, it's popcorn culture time. It's popcorn culture time, and of course, we are here to discuss the end. It's the Bad Batch, season 3, the final 2 episodes, episode
face.
14, Flash Strike, and episode 15, the Cavalry has arrived. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I watched these back to back this evening, and 14 blended seamlessly into 15 that I don't know where it ended
It ended.
and shit began.
It ended where Omega said, "I got an idea."
Yes, that's the only thing I remember. But I feel like 14 was just very much a precursor to 15. Like it very much just it showed everyone getting into their positions ready for the finale, basically. Like, you know,
Yeah.
the batch made it to Tantus. Rampart was hysterical, screaming. He's such a coward. But anyway. We don't have to worry about him anymore. But yeah. I don't really have a lot to say about the first episode. Like episode 14, other than it's just moving all the parts into place, and Omega, you know, sneaking away again up the shaft and finding I forget what they called the silo, whatever they called that monster thing that broke out.
I think it was a silo.
Zenu.
Is it Zenu?
I can't. One moment, please.
Kaiju.
Kaiju. It was a Star Wars kaiju.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that. Anyway, yeah, so she finds that, and then that's when she's like, I've got a plan, I know what we can do. So, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have anything to say on episode 14? I feel like most of the conversation will probably focus on 15. But yeah, I don't know. Fulya, what did you make of 14? Did you have any thoughts?
Honestly, it's been a while since I last watched it, so my brain is like, yeah, it was good.
The remainder of Bash arrived at Tantos.
I knew I should have, like, the little time that I had between coming home from the theater and starting this, I should have just watched this and the last episode of X-Men, and I'm like, why? Anyway, it's fine.
It's okay. It's okay.
We're
It's
here
fine.
to jog your memory.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Mike, did you have any thoughts on Flash Strike, the second last episode?
Yeah, it was last week. I can't really remember it that much myself. So yeah, yeah, it was just a good setup for the final episode, and I think I said it last week on the podcast as I was a bit scared on the last episode of where it's going to go, because I wasn't really expecting it where it to go. but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
say.
I think they yeah, I don't know. I feel like they dragged out the story a little bit too much.
It
I
would
think.
be if you're doing a rewatch, it's very seamlessly going into each other.
Yeah.
It's a good binge show, in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably works better as a show to binge. That's a good point. Cool. All right. Well, let's just crack in with the final episode, shall we?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. The cavalry has arrived. Oh boy. Oh boy, has the cavalry arrived. Man. Yep. This is gonna be intense. So yeah, this is a very good episode. I really enjoyed watching it. There are a lot of times when I was like genuinely so scared for them. I'm like, well, okay, what direction? Because we've been theorizing all season long about how this is going to end. Are they all going to go out? Is Crosshair going to make the sacrifice play, or are they all going to get out safely and it's going to be a happy ending?
Yeah. They
Yeah.
changed the title sequence, which made me go, "Someone's gonna die."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was ominous, wasn't it? Yeah. I was not expecting that. But yeah, it was very, very good, and I'm very happy with the way it all played out. And yeah, it was they pulled out all the stops for a lot of this stuff. Really dark, fuck me, deep and dark stuff.
Darp.
Arp, arp. That they were dealing with, and that was just really intense. Yeah, I think I can't remember which moment it was, but there was something really fucked up happening, and I was like, "Kids show, huh? Sick. This is not a children's program." Some of the stuff that was in this episode was so graphic and like, yeah, intense. But anyway, we'll talk about it. But yeah, and the little epilogue scene with Omega and Hunter, we'll talk about that. But it was a nice way to close it all out.
Yeah.
I think. Fulia, what were your overall thoughts on the finale?
Yeah, it got really intense. So I was a little worried about someone that might have been dying.
Couple of people. Yeah, all of them. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But overall, it was a really well done experience in terms of just watching this episode. And the way that it also sort of ended as well. It was just like a nice sort of a peaceful way of finishing it off. To say that's it for the Bad Batch. Now it's Omega's turn to continue her own journey and be part of the rebellion. Which will be interesting because I have thoughts about that. But anyway, but yeah, so I was a little worried when the batch got captured.
You and me both.
I was like, oh no, not now! Don't do this again to me. My thought was they were all gonna die. And I was like, no.
Or turn.
Oh, there was some foreshadowing about turning, yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus.
all that.
And then the bloody, conditioning shit that, not Ram,
Man, like that
Hemlock
really
was doing.
Yeah, that just really hit me in the guts, I suppose.
Yeah.
All the things that were happening, and then Omega literally had to be the one that ended up saving them.
Which was kind of nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But just seeing Rampart go full on sinister was freaking scary as hell. I was like, the dude is really, really evil.
We talking about Hemlock or Rampart?
Sorry, I meant Hemlock.
Yeah, it's okay. I thought so. I made them. I just got them confused before.
I'm
so
looking
like,
at
I
his
think
picture, but the
done
name
the same
came
thing.
out as something else.
It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, you're right. He was
Hemlock, yes.
he was. It was like darkest timeline Hemlock activated. Like
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just he really creeped me out. Like like the stuff he was doing. And I'm thinking, this dude's gonna like really fuck shit up.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. But I did also enjoy the escape from the kids and Omega. How they also had to try and keep the toddler from crying too much to avoid being spotted.
Were you getting MASH flashbacks for that?
MASH?
Stop that baby from crying.
Oh! Wow. I did not want to remember that.
I have no reference, but
Oh, dude,
that
no.
sounds fucked
Yeah,
up.
I kind of did actually. I did. I was like, but I know being a kid, so they would not do that.
No,
Like,
definitely
no way.
not.
All right, I'm googling this.
No, it's essentially the last couple of episodes of the series. So it's in the last season of MASH. So Hawkeye ends up at the psych hospital. And he's trying to forget what's happened, but the psychiatrist is getting him to remember what happened. But he's remembering it differently. And then when the psychiatrist is getting him to think deeper, he remembers. And essentially, he remembers that because they were trying to hide from the enemy and they were on a bus in this forest, they had their lights off and they had to remain as silent as possible. But unfortunately, there was a civilian on the bus that had a baby. But the way that Hawkeye was remembering it, he thought that the lady had a chicken. And so the chicken was the one making all the noise. And Hawkeye's just like turning around and telling her to shut the chicken up. And then it does. But then he realizes later, when he gets pushed and prodded, that it's actually the mother's baby that she had to stop from crying. And the only way that was going to happen is if she essentially killed her own baby. Very dark.
Yeah, very dark.
Yeah.
MASH lives in the comedy section at my work.
They got experimental in the last couple of years.
The last couple of seasons. Like there's always, in every episode, there is always some underlying message about war being hell and that, people dying and all that sort of stuff, and just how horrible it was, that whole experience. So even though it was a comedy through and through, they still had very serious moments.
Yeah, kind of like Scrubs, I suppose. Like how Scrubs comedy.
Sort of like that. Maybe a little bit more serious, especially because it's a war show.
Yeah.
But in context to what Lister was saying with MASH, and then the kid when they're trying to escape in this episode, and I'm just like, my brain did go there, and I'm just like, they would not do that in a kids show, no way.
No way.
I'm like, they gotta find another way to keep the kid quiet.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Fulya, for making me view MASH
reference, yes,
in a different light. Yeah, that's
great
nuts.
show.
I
Love
know.
it.
Mike, what are your overall thoughts of the speaking of finales, final episode of The Bad Batch?
Yeah, as a good season, show finale, it definitely didn't disappoint. I was on the edge of my seat, as it were, because I didn't know where it was going, and as well as if they survive or not, because it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek title. The cavalry is here,
Yeah.
and it's just them, like taking on an entire base. So it's definitely I was definitely like edge of the seat times, and also at least Crosshair got a remedy for his shakes.
No.
I
That-
did not like that.
No. And
No.
I don't know if I want to talk about it now or later, but
yeah, it can't be Star Wars without losing a hand.
apparently not.
Yeah, and it just finished off beautifully as there's a time jump for the prologue and where everyone is, and
Epilogue.
epilogue.
Yeah.
The prologue
Yeah.
was episode 14. A small epilogue. Anyway, yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, and it was very fitting for combining everything to be up to this point, and I can't wait to rewatch it again. Yeah, because just thinking of all the stuff that we were talking about, how we didn't like Omega's character, like being the kid, and then she grew up to be this person. It's like, this is amazing. This is life, and this is with children born in war. It's got to make you hard, but unfortunately, life finds a way.
Life does find a way. Yeah. Well, I guess we probably just start by talking about the villains of the episode and where they all end up. Of course,
pieces.
in pieces. Yeah, all of them in pieces. I would think it would be safe to say. Yeah. I don't know where to go first. Well, I don't know. I want to talk about Rampart. Just because, he's been a thorn in the Batch's side since the beginning, and I like that we got a reminder call back to, like, his time on Camino and all of that back in season 1. And yeah, he starts off being sort of the comic relief, because, like, you were this big bad guy, and now you're a fucking bumbling idiot. But I kind of liked how he was playing the long game for himself, and he says that to Crosshair. He's like, "You and I are the same. We're both in this for ourselves." And Crosshair's like, "Well, I've changed. Sorry." Which was a great moment, in and of itself. But yeah, Rampart just consistently just started getting more and more like, okay, where's my angle? How am I getting out of this? Especially once he gets captured by the Empire, he's like, great, they're going to send me back to the prison camp, and it's going to be even worse than it was the first time around. So as soon as he finds it out, he takes it, and yeah, that was one of the scenes, I think, where I was like, this is not a children's program, because it was just so sudden. Like, him and Nalase in the fucking, the lab or whatever. And, because Nalase is obviously gone to erase all the data and, and whatnot, and protect her work. Can I just shout out Nalase just for being fantastic, and for for realizing that she was not going to be coming back, and B, for, I'm pretty sure, Omega realizing that and not doing anything to stop her. Like, that was huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was insane. And then for the fact that for her to go in there, and then Rampart, catches her, and then she's got the charge in her hand, and she's holding onto it the whole time, and Oh man. And then yeah, for ramp.
She knew that she was going to get shot, so she's like, "Let me just activate this right now."
Yeah. And then yeah, I can't. Yeah, I was like so sad when he shot her. I was like, oh no. But, I mean, I knew she was dying, but like it was just still sad. It's like no, say no. But then for Rampart, who was just terrified of anything and just dying and being eaten, and it was comedic relief. And then all of a sudden, you know, there's this one moment he gets like half a second to react, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
That was intense.
And poetry too for Nala.
Yeah.
You blew up
Yes.
blew up my stuff. I blow up you.
Yeah. That was great. A very fitting end to Rampart, I think. But yeah, I just wasn't expecting it. It took me by surprise when the charge went off and big bada boom happened. So
Pretty much.
Bada boom.
yes, yes. Fulya, what are your thoughts on this the way Rampart's story ended and this stuff with Nalase and everything?
Good freaking riddance. I hated that guy. He wasn't just a thorn in the Batch's backside, he was a thorn in mine. Done for. Thank you very much. Boom, boom, boom. You're gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I knew there was he had an ulterior motive for sure.
Yeah.
Like, why else would he have separated from them, from the Batch, and then trying to find his way in? Mind you, the moment he was able to escape, when Omega unlocked all of the jails, all the cells, yeah, that was his moment to be like, right, I'm curious about what's going on here. Let me find out, and then I might be able to find my way back into, the ranks of leadership, being like, hey, I did this. I should get some kudos for this. So that definitely, like, I knew that's where he was going. That's where his head was at. But the way that it all backfired on him, essentially, it's like, what you get. Curiosity kills the cat, And obviously, curiosity also kills the Imperial officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, glad he's gone. We don't need him anymore. It's fine.
We definitely don't.
We don't want him in the main canon.
No.
No, we definitely don't. Mike, any additional thoughts on Rampart?
Yeah, fitting end, and thanks Nalaste for destroying all the work that they've been doing. And it's put Operation Necromancer on the back burner for another 20 years until they finish building more Death Stars. Or Project Stardust.
Stardust, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, which is kind of fitting, because you can only have enough monies for one thing at a time, which is good. Otherwise, the Empire gets too powerful, and I like it. And Rampart, he was a good adversary, moustache twirling, bubbling idiot, and a good thing for the first season, just to get into. It's like, oh, this is a bit of fun, and then step aside. We've got Nightshade coming in. What's his name?
Hemlock.
Yeah.
Nice. Yes.
Like, I didn't come here to play.
No, he didn't. Yeah, Hemlock, I think, has to go down as one of the best Star Wars villains. I think, like, just because he was so calculating and cold and unfeeling, and just, I don't know. He was just great, and I just really loved Jimmy Simpson's vocal work. His portrayal of the character was fantastic. So hats off to him. But yeah, like, just like you hinted at earlier, Fulia, seeing seeing Hemlock go full evil,
Mm.
like, just was something else.
Yeah, it was
in
either
this.
his way or the highway. Like it had to work.
Yeah. Like nothing was going to stand in the way of him getting where he needed to be and to making sure that Project Necromancer stays on task and on target and all of that. And he was willing to do whatever. And one thing I really, really kind of enjoyed is, there's this whole trope of like, when the bad guys are about to lose and like, they're like, aren't you freaking out right now? Like, no, actually, I assumed it was going to happen. Like, they did that whole thing, and but I think they actually did it pretty well. Like, because sometimes when they do that trope, it's in the character, the villain will go on about how, like, they're clearly lying. Like, no, they had no idea. But you can tell, I think, that Hemlock knew that all of these things were going to happen. Like, it was, I mean, he says it was a matter of time before the batch showed up. Like, he knew that they were going to get there eventually.
And he explains it that clones have a affinity to
loyalty
together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like their defining weakness, I guess.
Weakness
is that they will
perk.
Strength.
But yeah, they will always band together. Yeah. So I like the fact that Hemlock.
Before I forget.
Go.
Because throughout this entire show, we see the Bad Batch when they're up against other clones. They always set their guns for stun. And when it's subtly changed when they when the Empire was recruiting, because it was cheaper just to get random people to say, hey, join the Empire and you get cookies and all that. And that and just random people that can't shoot straight, and so therefore stormtroopers can't shoot because they're just bumbling idiots and all that. And then you get to see in this episode where Omega with the gun changes it to kill, and that was something new for Omega to do.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's a character choice.
Yeah, that is.
She's had enough of that shit.
Yeah, she's gotten to a point where she's like, no, I have to do this. These are the choices. We can't save everybody. But no, I really do like that that Hemlock was like, he never kind of gave away anything. Like, you never kind of got from him that he was ever panicking or didn't know what he was doing, or like he just, they used that trope, but they used it in the other way and made him a greater villain for it, I think. Yeah, so I thought that was really, really well done. And like, even at the end, that final scene on the bridge, he's clearly in a little bit of distress, but at the same time, I think he's more just angry that this is even happening. like he's just frustrated that he's like, why have we gotten to this point now? Like, when, I have to literally cuff her to me to get anything done around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really good. It was really good. And and then him dying, him getting shot and falling off the bridge. I was like, okay.
Oh, the way that they planned that out, that the fact that they knew what Omega was doing, and the precise moment where they go for the shot, and that was just, mwah.
That was great. That was a really good moment. Just them working together to save.
They
Omega,
know each other that well that they know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah. Remind me, was it was Hunter and Crosshair, right? Or was it
on the bridge?
Wrecker? Yeah, because Wrecker was still injured, right?
Yeah, he was sort of incapacitated, and him and Echo were sort of working out stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
With some of the other clones too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that are left.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm really, pleased with how Hemlock and his story wrapped up, and like as you said, Mike, Tarkin shows up and it's just like, well, let's redirect all our funds into making some Death Stars.
Yeah.
And then Endor starts.
And then Andor starts, yeah, basically. Yeah. It all bang, 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 bang. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, Fulia, what are your thoughts on Hemlock and the conclusion of his story?
Oh, I think I've pretty much just
You've said everything?
I've pretty much said
Yeah.
what I needed to say. Like I'm glad that the way that he ended up dying, it kind of worked out for them. It's like they got their justice out of him. And yeah, it's like literally there was no empathy, no sympathy from him right up until the end. Like he did not give a shit about anyone but himself.
He's a scientist.
And this project. It needed to work for him. It had to work for him. And so the fact that he was so gung-ho about it all, that he thought that the loyalty part of the batch of the clones was a weakness, but he didn't realize how much of a strength it was for them too. Which is why he got his just desserts. So yeah. Goodbye, Hemlock. Fare with thee well. I hope you never come back again.
Well, he went out like tech, so.
Yeah.
All right, I've got comments on tech coming up.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah.
Mike, do you have any additional thoughts on Hemlock?
No, I probably said them all. Yeah, the clones' greatest weakness is their loyalty, but that was his fatal flaw. He got them all together. So
Yeah. I think Hemlock was very arrogant in that sense.
exactly.
He didn't think that they would do anything.
Yeah, and I mean, we've sort of seen this trope of of them on the bridge doing that, but it wasn't cheesy. It just worked because we know these characters so well and how they've worked together seemingly, and I think it was quite fitting that Omega hugged Crosshair first.
Yeah. I was going to circle back around to that and when we talk about the good guys, but yeah.
That's all right. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good moment. Anyway, do we want to talk about it now or
Talk about the good guys? Let's talk about
we brought it up already, so might as well.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure some sort of tangent into
tangent
segue.
Yeah, well, because I was gonna, I don't know, I was gonna start by talking about Emery first, and then building into the batch, but because Emery is our cross point, if you will,
of good guy, bad guy.
Yes, because she finally flipped. We all knew it was coming. So it was really nice, and I liked that scene with her and Echo. Of them being like, why are you, like, he's like, why are you helping, and or whatever, or like, well, it's it's the right thing to do, but I like the fact that he told her, like, how can you do any of this? Like, you're a clone, you're one of us, like, that was like the last thing she needed to hear, I think, to push her into, that frame of loyalty that seems to be this recurring thing, obviously. So that was really, really nice to see her, and and the fact that she ended up playing kind of a pivotal role, getting the kids out safely in the end, and and then now she's gonna go work with Senator Chuchi and get the clones' cause heard in the Senate and see how things go after that. But I don't know. I was really glad to see Emery kind of finally. I was kind of hoping she'd have more of a moment of telling Hemlock to go screw himself, but in a Star Wars way. Um, but there wasn't really a lot of time for that, I guess. But
Kick him in
yeah.
the nuts.
Kick him, kick him in the nuts. Yeah, that would have
Kick him
done
in
it.
the
Yeah,
nuts.
kick him in the nuts. Yeah. Did you guys have any thoughts on Emery?
No, she was a really good character. I like we all knew that by the end of it she was gonna turn good, so it was just a matter of pushing her in the right direction, I suppose. And yeah, she's now still going to do what she likes to do, which is science. But just in a more positive way, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Thanks for the memory.
Thanks for the memory, Emery.
Mm.
Yes.
She served
Well
her
played.
purpose as a character.
She did, yes. I suppose there wasn't a lot to her.
No.
Overall. But yeah, well, I mean, the batch, we'll just go in and talk about them. We finally, I suppose, can say, thankfully, I guess, that Tech is definitely dead. Yeah. I mean, Fully is still shrugging. Oh.
No, I know. I know.
There's always hope.
There's always hope. It's Star Wars.
But nah.
No, I feel like
I think he's it's definitely
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of said
like
that was
the
the
epilogue
case.
didn't say anything about it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's confirmed. Yeah, sad.
Yeah, I know.
But that was really like that moment where they're all, and I can't remember if it was in episode 14 or 15, but that moment where Crosshair is just like, Clone Force 99 died with Tech.
Yeah.
Like, we're not the same anymore.
Yeah.
We're never going to be the same unit we were. Like, we just have to, because, like, Crosshair had some really great moments in this episode, and yeah, it was heartbreaking to hear him talk like that, and then to also be like, I'm going in alone.
Yeah.
And saving her. You two are going to go communicate
He's literally about
with
to
Rex.
sacrifice himself. Yeah.
Yeah, legit. And that's what I thought was going to happen.
Same.
We talked about it being a possibility going into this, and then he said that, and I was like, no, I don't want that.
I don't need another one.
We don't need another one. I didn't sign up for this,
No.
and I've got more to say on Crosshair. But fucking hell, yeah. I'm so glad that Hunter and Rekka were both like, no, you are not. You're not doing that. We are sticking together. We're gonna go in together. It's shut your face. But yeah, Mike, you already said, we had that moment where Crosshair lost his goddamn hand. That was I cried, I'll just say. I cried. I teared up. Because I was like, oh fuck. Like, we've had this whole thing of him struggling with his trauma and the shakes in his hand, and now the hand's gone. And I suppose there's a lot of ways you can interpret that, apart from it being a Star Wars, inside baseball thing. But whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing, like, that's probably the only thing for the epilogue I would have liked to have seen, is like what Crosshair was able to make of his life with probably a robotic hand.
Yeah.
What kind of a sharpshooter he was, or what he did, after that. I think I would have liked a little bit more closure to that. But other than that, it's fine. But yeah, I was so scared. I was like, they cut his hand off. I was crying. I'm like, no, I don't want this. Not my Crosshair. No, thank you. No, I was scared for all of them. Like, I was scared for Rekka. At one point, it looked like he was on the way out, and I'm like, nah. No. This is worse than killing Crosshair. Don't kill Rekka. God, it was just, it was so harrowing. And then that, the torture scene with Hunter as well was just, Oh my god. Yeah, it was these moments were like the moments where it's just like this is so dark and so intense and so gritty, and I just couldn't believe I was seeing it a lot of
Yeah.
the time. It was so insane. So I was, yeah, I'm sure like both of you were probably fearing for the Batch's lives at this point as
Pretty
to whether or
much.
not they were gonna get out. Fulia, how did you go watching all of that? Like one thing after another, just everything was just going wrong for them, you know, and it was just, yeah, it was just
My
intense.
heart, man. I'm like, every time I see that, I'm just like grabbing my chest. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
no,
no thanks.
why?
Yeah, it was too
um,
much.
yeah, it was getting real intense with the boys, and I was just like, but I need them to live. They must
Mm-hmm.
go on.
They must go
Um,
on.
yeah, you know, just seeing Hunter getting electrocuted was
Mm.
really, just really hard. And then seeing Omega see that, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, far out. Yeah, it was quite sad and upsetting to see them in that kind of situation. Uh, you know, of yeah, just everybody's getting hurt physically, emotionally, mentally,
Mm-hmm.
just all the things.
All the things.
Yeah. Um, I'm just glad that they made it out alive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Only just.
Yeah.
Only just. That was touch and
I'm
go.
happy about that. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. That was insane. Mike, what did you make of, you know, the way the batch, you know, ended up and all the shit they had to put up with just to get there?
Yeah, I can't really add too much, but yeah, after what Crosshair said, it was like, well, uh, it's no longer since Tech died, and he was right, and I didn't really realize. It's like, well, yeah, it makes sense because after that, Echo kept on going off doing his own thing, and it was only Wrecker and Hunter for a lot of time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's just writing on the wall. It's like after this is the last. This is the last hurrah. So
Yeah.
it could end up as anything, like either more death, more casualty, or they could just retire, and that's what they did. And yeah, and yeah, I was quite surprised when they cut off his hand. I was like, oh shit, can he still shoot though? And apparently he can.
Yeah.
I guess it helped in a way, in a very morbid way.
Mm.
And but it was quite fitting. In order to stable himself, he was resting on the shoulders of Hunter, and I thought, yeah, that's quite poetic right there.
Yeah.
And working together as a team,
for the
Leaning on his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the brothers and sisters.
All the brothers, yes, everybody. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and Wrecker was sort of a touch and go. It was like, oh, you okay, buddy?
Yeah.
And yeah, that it gave you the concern that this could be the last thing, and just the triumph of Wrecker, just last attempt wrecking things. It was like, yeah, fucking go, my son. You wrecked that thing. And that last battle with the Deadites, with the I don't know what you call them, but yeah, that was absolutely brutal.
That was
Yeah.
Hunter just pinning the guy to the wall, and his feet were sort of dangling. It's like, yeah, are you sure this is a kids show?
Yeah. Getting stabbed through the wall and shit in the chest and all that stuff.
Kid show.
Kid show. Yeah, the action sequences were really well done. Like, I mean, they always are in this show, but
Yeah.
in this last episode, they were outstanding.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and the score too, as usual, I think was really good. But it was nice to hear them actually bring the theme in for a few moments, because yeah, it was obviously it's the last episode, so it's like really nice to see, like, you know, hear the theme as we're watching them do their thing, and it's just like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, it was really cool. Really, really cool. Yeah, I don't want to say we're done, but I feel like we are done if we're not.
Yeah.
I mean, Fully, I remember you said you had some thoughts about Omega's future in the rebellion. I'm really glad to see, just quickly, that yeah, just that epilogue was really cool, and that moment with her and Hunter was really lovely, and I love the fact that of course Omega would be joining the rebellion. Like, that makes all the sense in the world. So I thought that was really lovely. But what were your thoughts on that?
I like, my thought process is, and I don't know timeline wise whether it's right or wrong. But I feel like, knowing that that adult Omega has now gone off on her own adventure to join the rebellion, that we might actually see her in something live action at some point.
There's a high possibility.
We could, yeah, very good call.
So we might be seeing her join forces with some of the teams that we know or we don't. Like, in a future film, maybe, most likely, or maybe even in one of the live action shows, depending on timeline. So
yeah,
I can
maybe
see that happening.
Depending on the show, she would be a little bit older than we see her here, because this would be at the start of New Hope, basically. Where the rebellion is already set up. So it could be like almost at the midpoint between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Something like that. But which fraction she comes across. I mean, she wouldn't be part of the Rebels timeline, because obviously we don't see her. So it would be something else as well. And if she was to turn up in the Ahsoka series, she would be maybe a little bit younger, thinking timeline, maybe a little bit younger than Ahsoka, but not too young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do have a theory that this is probably the worst thing that Omega could be doing, because I'm thinking of future aspects of Necromancer as well. How she is very important to that thing.
Yeah.
So with her coming out of hiding.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no, indeed. There's more story.
There's more story, and it doesn't sound like it has a happy ending this time around.
She's more essential than most when it comes to cloning people with high M count.
Yep. And considering, the Necromancer's definitely only been delayed
by a smidge.
By a smidge. It's
and I also have another theory on that as well. The reason why everything that that Palpatine decided, okay, I can't really have this all this stuff within earshot of anyone in the galaxy, so I'm just going to take it into the unknown region. So with his cloning facilities, as well as the thousands of Star Destroyers as well, to explain that bit at the end. So okay, I need to be more crafty here.
Yeah.
And how is that with Grand Admiral Thrawn bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's all slowly coming together, but we're sort of seeing the pieces as well. So Bad Batch was sort of a good indication of this is what Necromancer was and had to be put on the back burner until following. So we haven't quite reached the somehow Palpatine returned, but they are setting up for the Necromancer Part 2.
Yes.
And it's also extremely sad because this is probably going to be the last stories that we're going to get from Clone Wars era. So another bittersweet of no more Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah, they've probably done all they can. I mean, I suppose the only other thing would be, like, you know, obviously last year we had Tales of the Jedi. Yesterday they dropped Tales of the Empire. So they could revisit it in that sense. But I think, yeah, you're right. And probably in terms of long form storytelling, it's probably the end of it. Yeah. Well, what a way to go out, huh?
Yeah.
Done a very good job. I think they stuck the landing.
I think so too.
Yeah.
What about you, Fulya?
I think they did too.
Yeah. Good.
And setting up more stuff as well.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And it's nice to see Batcher there too. He's still kicking around.
Old and fat. As a pet dog should be.
Yes. Yes, we love to see it. Was there anything else you guys wanted to touch on, bring up before we wrap this up?
Nah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think we've hit everything. Yep. All right, well, that's it.
Yeah.
I suppose,
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's done.
It's done.
It's done. No more talking about
Star Wars.
Crosshair.
Ever.
And Star Wars ever? Okay. Never again. No, because we're going to switch to a different sci-fi program very soon. Ooh. Who could it be?
I wonder who.
I wonder who. But yes, that was our thoughts on the last 2 episodes of The Bad Batch. The ending of The Bad Batch. Season 3, episode 14 and 15, Flash Strike and the Cavalry has arrived.
Yeah, everything goes in threes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, does it?
Yeah. Trilogies when it comes to Star Wars.
Yeah, but we talked about 2 episodes, not 3. I'm confused. I'm really tired.
He meant the 3 seasons.
3 seasons.
Oh, the 3 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mandalorian only went for 3 seasons.
Well, that's not confirmed to be done though.
3 seasons of a movie doesn't count.
This ain't Community.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I definitely did. Sad that that's the end of a show, but you know, we had a great time discussing it and a great time watching it. So
true.
Yay for the Bad Batch. We will miss you. And that's Popcorn Culture done, which means that is the podcast for another week. We're done. We're out of here. Ready? Wrap it up. A 1, a 2, a you know what to do. And
that
was a podcast
called
Friend. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the latest Fred content.
If you'd like to listen to Fred the Alien, you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.
If you'd like to watch Fred the Alien, you can head over to youtube.com/Fred the Alien Productions. And if you're watching us right now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit the bell icon to be notified of future live streams and other content. And if you're watching us over on Twitch, make sure to give us a follow, twitch.tv/Fred the Alien Twitch.
Yay! I've been a Kendall Richardson.
I've been a Fulya and Michael.
And I've been the Bad Batch clone himself, Michael Lister.
And
you
just
just
experienced
a
a
podcast called Fred. Transition.
Remember to eat beef.
Remember, Freddy lives, Loki dies, the Doctor is in, and when have we ever followed orders? May he rest in pieces. Like his glasses.
Oh, Tech.
Sure to look after yourself and your mental health.
Yes, please do. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Laters, Gators.
And
See